hauntings, cryptids, the unknown. Welcome to Mystic Moon Cafe Radio.
You're listening to Mystic Moon Cafe. The views and opinions expressed by guests do not necessarily reflect those of the hosts, the network, or our sponsors.
Our recording.
See, the man just said everything's going to go to the cloud.
Oh, okay.
What we say can and will be used against us.
Yes.
Only if I release it.
True. All right, let me get this other social media channel rolling, but talk amongst yourselves while I make Zuckerberg some money here. Give me a sec.
Well, we could take a moment and say, hey, thoughts and prayers go out to the folks in Ukraine. My apologies. I sometimes have those little brain farts. But we are certainly pulling for you all. I hope it works out for the best. I just don't know. I've
been watching it really close. My mom's family's from the Ukraine.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So hopefully it'll be over quick.
Hopefully so, yes. Now, are you in any contact with any groups that are sending aid or nothing like that? All right. We are now live on Facebook as well.
Double live.
Yay, Meta's making money.
Yay! All right, everybody. We've got a great show lined up. We have Nick T. White of... What all are you involved in, Nick? I mean, it looks like you've got all kinds of fun stuff going on.
Well, I'm the lead of Call of you sort of say lead of Call of Duty, lead of Cage of Darkness and Cage of Darkness Paranormal Investigations, as well as started doing Cage of Darkness Gaming. It's me and a few other buddies started doing some stuff for esports, and I'm gonna start doing a lot of Twitch and a lot of YouTube stuff, and I also do the Darkness Cage, which is a paranormal equipment store, which I got to rework that a little bit so we can kind of get some of the new stuff, because there's so many new things that's out right now that I've just missed out on already. Just all kinds of stuff, man. Started getting I might have a little bit of networky stuff here coming on TV soon, so I'll be able to tell you guys more about that at some point, hopefully sooner than later.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, I got to get back to that screen. We have the incomparable Mike Merle with us this evening. Mike Morin.
Yep, that's me.
Okay. And Jake Rice, our friend in the corner in the cemetery.
It's one of my favorite places to hang out, you know.
Well, mine too, but yeah.
We're all just dying to get in there.
That's right. That's right. All righty. So then, well, where shall we kick off? We set a moment that we took a moment and, you know, sent good energy out to Ukraine, and looks like we've got lovely people in the audience. Hello, Cricket. How are you, lady? And golly, so much going on. My car crapped out. It's not fixable. So I'll be looking for something very inexpensive, but very reliable, please. Message me. Money or tips, either one.
we'll set up the Cash App on the Mystic Moon YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You should ask before we get into Nick. You should ask Jake about his journey he had this past week.
Oh dear. Now, yes. I have retired from ghost hunting, Merle. The gadget guy has, given up the gadgets.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I gave up insulin 2 minutes ago.
I mean, where do you want me to start? I went up and I visited Merle in Canada. And we went to a former mill town. Well, it's still a mill town, barely.
Okay.
And we got to do some investigations at some pioneer type hotels, and we got evidence.
Evidence.
You know what we actually did? It's safe to say we got some pretty cool things that even Jake couldn't debunk.
Yeah, I'm the debunker.
Told me a lot about it, and I was impressed because Jake doesn't admit to anything being real.
No,
There have been a few times, but I always had it recorded.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll keep the side note of like, I'm like, come at me, bro, hate on my evidence. But no one ever asks for the raw files. Ever. I have them. No one ever wants them.
I don't know what that means.
I got the full recording of the evidence, not the 30-second snippet. I got the full 2 hours.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
No one ever wants to. Anyway, I don't know, Merle. You want to talk about our good evidence, because we got a show with Nick here to put on, but what do you want to tease out? What?
Kitties.
I just want what I'll tease out before we get into it is you got more than you bargained for because you brought stuff home, possibly.
I did.
Uh-oh.
The night I got back to the United States. That night, so I've been having some encounters at the hotel. And then when I got home with the puppies, you guys might have heard me talk about Ollie. Ollie always likes to do a pee run at like 1 a.m.
There's always one.
And so when I got back, Ollie was whining. It woke me up. So I'm just like, that kid, I got to put in these doggy doors ASAP. And so as I was getting up, I heard shuffling coming towards me, and I have hardwood floors in my house. So, like kind of like if you were in socks shuffling across the room, and it came towards me. And then I heard a creak, like right next to me. I fell asleep on the couch. So with Mikey, the big 100-pounder. And then in my ear, I heard a lady's voice go, "Why?"
That's messed.
And we had that lady's voice in Powell River.
Okay, now, so I can just say this here. Jake doesn't believe very much, like at all. And for him to admit this on the show is like, I don't even have a comparison.
Seeing Bigfoot.
Well, so let me tell you what pissed me off the most, though, is I never do anything without like a camera in my hand.
Right.
Of course,
right.
I don't have a camera in my hand on my living room couch. So I'm just like, can you do that again? She didn't cooperate.
Well, maybe she just likes messing with you that way.
That's true. She hasn't shown up since. So
yeah. Okay.
Now, Nick, you're a seasoned investigator. You did Curse of the Bell Witch. You have your own team. You've been around the block in the ghost hunting field. You were in Nevada for a bit. And what's your take on attachments, bringing things home? Has that ever happened to you or people you've investigated with?
Absolutely. Yeah, it happened to me for a couple times, actually. First time it happened when I was really younger, that just because I just didn't know what was going on, didn't know how to protect myself, anything like that. And one of the worst ones was actually from the show that I was on Curse the Bell Witch. We were at the cave. I'm pretty sure it's from the cave anyway. I got way too excited because I was on TV and forgot to protect myself. Didn't carry nothing with me. Didn't do any prayers. I was just, yay, TV, let's go hunt some ghosts. And then after we got done with all the filming for the cave, I came home a few days later after that, started feeling really lethargic. I was getting pissy, getting kind of mean, aggravating. Anything whatsoever would aggravate me. And I'm not like that, man. I love to have fun. I cut up, I make fun of myself, just all kinds of stuff. And I got to where I couldn't sleep for a few days after that. Even my appetite was kind of going down a little bit. And I got in contact with one of my buddies. I've got tons of friends that's in the clergy and different fields, things like that do stuff that that help with protections and pulling things off, stuff, exorcisms, all kind of stuff. And had at least 3 of them say, "Hey, man." You actually, one of them even called me. I was like, "Hey, you been doing good?" I was like, "No." How did you know? Because he's actually a medium, and he said, "Well, man, you seem there's something going on with you. I don't know what it is." And I said, "Well, I just got back from doing the cave stuff at Bell Witch Cave down there, or up there, or over there in Adams, Tennessee is right above Nashville, and I'm over here at East Tennessee, and that's in Middle Tennessee." And I said, "I just got back from doing the cave stuff." And he said, I think you brought something back from you. And he said, "Let me get a hold of you and come on by." So I went on by, and lo and behold, there was some kind of attachment to me. It was oppressing me. I wasn't possessed or anything like that. I didn't, if I would have let it go too much further, something probably would have happened. But luckily, I mean, that's, me being me, and I talk to everybody and have so many friends, and luckily I have these different friends in the right places, and man, they help me out. But yeah, it's a thing. And even, see, I was, listen to that story there, and that why could be even like, why did you bring me with you? Because it could have been a possibility that might not wanted to come with you, and it's like, well, it liked your energy, so it's like, oh, well, I'm gonna hang with you with your energy. But then maybe the next thing they know, they were at your crib there, Jay, and he was like, well, hey, why did you bring me with you? Why am I here? Why did you not stay up there? And stuff like that. But it's no, you could be anywhere, and some people's like, oh, you have to be in a really haunted place, you have to be in a whatever. You don't. These things, man, they will see you, and it's just like whatever type of energy you got, especially if it's a positive energy, it's a high vibration, it's a really outgoing kind of type of energy, they're going to see that. It's just like a light bulb popping up on top of your head. It's like, hey, come over here and hang out with me, and they'll grab you and latch on to you without a second thought. And
just like a chick.
It is. It really is. You're exactly right. They're energy they're kind of like energy vampires, kind of the same thing. They some of them might not mean malevolent. They may just be a spirit that just happened to say, well, I enjoyed his company. He was a really positive person. I liked his positive energy. I liked his high energy. I liked the vibration he was giving off. So I'm going to hang out and absorb that and hang out with, during that time. And next thing you know, well, they come and hanging out with you now. So
here's the interesting thing, because that voice came from a very creepy part of the old courthouse inn, and it was in a crawl space basement by an old jail. And so Merle and his girlfriend Sandra, shout out, they had a little something go on. I had jack nothing. So I wasn't worrying about it.
Right.
I've never seen her so scared in my life. Like, she cried, and that never happens.
Wow. That's what location was it?
It was a old inn in Powell River, British Columbia, called the Old Courthouse.
Inn. Wicked. That's pretty wild.
Neat.
We've talked before. You need to come up here. I got spots for
you.
I'm
going to. Trust me. I told you. I'm gonna make it a point to do that. Absolutely. I always wanted to go to Canada anyway.
Oh yeah, BC is gorgeous. Like, I live in Washington State. I'm just happy to live in a nice, beautiful part of the woods. And then you cross the border, and like British Columbia blows it away.
Right on. That's cool.
So similar yet not.
Yes, we were saying that a lot. We had there was a couple of times when the trends, it's like, the English is coming out your mouth, but I don't understand what you're saying. As I found out when I ordered some beer, and they're like, "Would you like a spot or a sleeve?" And I'm like, "Does not compute." What the hell does that? I went, "This big?
What is it?" Yeah, I want a glass that has it in it.
I want a draft that's about this big. I don't know what's.
What is it? What is that? What is a spot or a sleeve? What is that?
So a sleeve is a half pint.
Half pint is a sleeve. And what's a pint?
Pint. You don't have pints down there?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And they say pint glasses. Yeah.
So it's just 50% of a pint. It's like a small beer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's there's no such thing as a small beer where I'm at. It's all real beer where you get a pint or a 32 ounce or a big handle. It's just like a gallon where you can just go in and grab it.
They give you a glass club that
Exactly, or a boot, Das boot. You know, I think it's probably about that big. You know, pour that thing full, and you got to turn it sideways so you can get all of it.
And we got someone from Louisiana, so she would understand the grenade on Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
You know, the big old.
Sure. I got one when I went down there. Shoot, yeah. I got one of them things. That stuff went down quick, and then that was it's like a hand grenade hitting you in the face. Dude, after one of them, man, I was like, whew, we gotta take it easy for a few minutes. You don't think it's that much or that strong, but man, it tastes good as it's going down, and then once you get it all the way down, you're going down if you ain't careful.
Coming out.
That alcohol's a liquid devil.
That's it.
Nick, what got you into the paranormal?
Well, when I was real young, I've got abilities. I don't talk about all of them, but I've got a few abilities I was blessed with. And when I started feeling things, hearing things, I was in a house. There was one specific house that when I grew up, and that me and my family lived in, and it was an old like a corn. It was a cornfield back behind it, and then there was it's like an old stucco. Well, it's not stucco, but it's like a log cabin type of house, like it. Hardwood, and it had the little cementy stuff in between. It was just that old house, and I started hearing things and seeing things at that time, and it was kind of it's really out of the ordinary. And there was one thing in particular really that got me, and there was to this day, the only thing I could say is it's kind of like a black smoke panther, as easy as I can describe it. And this, I was laying in the living room one day, and because I usually like to sleep near TV or sound anyway, even when I was younger. And I was laying in the living room that day. I was falling asleep. Everybody's out, and my kitten, goodness gracious, it's getting in an unsafe spot. Get down, baby. Get down. Okay, yeah, I had to get that. Yeah, I had to get that one down. She'll hurt herself. Bruce is teaching them bad stuff. I'll show you Bruce here soon. But but this thing, I was laying in towards where my head was facing towards where you go out of the house, where the little hallway was to go out the door. And we had an old wood heater, so there was a little bit of noise. Like it was an old house. There's noise, stuff like that. But this one specific night, I had started hearing something, and it was kind of like it was something coming through the back door. So I kind of just poked my head up just a tad bit, and I was just kind of looking a little bit around the corner. I didn't see anything, but the next thing I know, I started hearing more, and it was more like a thump, scratchy kind of sound. And it was because our old timey like kind of carpet that was there, because that house had been there since. Because that house and the house beside of us had been built for a long time, and I believe it was probably in the late 1800s. I believe early 1900s is when that stuff was built, and so it all had all that old timey stuff in it, And I kept hearing this stuff, and I kept peeping, watching. Mom and Dad's asleep in there. The next thing I know, I see this kind of look. The easiest way I can describe it is kind of like this black smoke kind of stuff. It's kind of like a paw-like looking. And you ever see these horror movies where you see these characters when they're in something, it'll be like a jerk, and like that, and then it'll jerk, and then it'll jerk. That's kind of how that kind of went. Like, here's the wall, so I see something coming, and it was kind of like a jerk, kind of like that, and it went. Then the next thing you know, this head literally peeped around like this, looking straight at me, and this is the way it looked to me. It looked, calm down, honey. And it looked directly at me. It looked like it had like a upside down boomerang kind of thing. Looked like it had a rubyish kind of thing right here. I just say that for an example, but because it was still smoky. There was no real definition. It's just what it kind of looked like. Eyes were real red, kind of smoky coming out of it, and all the black. And it was all black smoke like kind of stuff, but it was still in a shape. It wasn't completely just smoky, like a mist, completely smoke, but it was an actual shape. So it literally scared the shit out of me. I mean, that thing just looked right at me. It just looked right at me. And I stopped real quick. And you know how you kind of mouth like mom or dad or something when you're real little and nothing comes out. I was like, nothing's coming out. I'm streaming hard for my mom. This thing starts walking closer. And I just I'm froze. I mean, at that time I was, let's see, that was before I drove. I was driving my go-kart. So that was probably when I was probably, I'm going to say maybe 10, maybe give or take 10 or 11 years old. And it just kind of kept going closer, kept coming closer. When it gets probably, I'm going to say, how far was that? I'm going to say probably about 4 foot away from me, it stops. Now, the funny thing is, the whole time when all this stuff's going on, I didn't really feel threatened. I didn't feel like it was going to hurt me. I didn't feel like it was going to attack me. I just didn't feel none of that. And just, I don't know. I don't know really what its intent was, but once it got close enough, it stopped. I heard it kind of breathing like kind of sound, and then it just kind of shot towards me and disappeared.
Wow.
Well, to this day, I mean, I've met random friends throughout the years, archaeologists. I felt felt me up some historians. I met some historians. I met a lot of people, and I've asked a lot of people about this. And some had said that, where I've got Native American blood, I have Cherokee and Apache bloodlines. And some had said that could be a totem of yours that had been just saying like, hey, you need to get into this. You need to start learning about this. This is something that you're meant to do, and this is your path. Because I've helped a lot of people since I got started, and I'm so excited that I've been able to do that. And if it wasn't for that specific time right then, I wouldn't have done and been able to help as many people as I've been able to help. And so after that little bit, I grabbed every book I could find, every story. I've talked to many people as I could find, documentaries, real documentaries, not reality shows, and just tons of stuff, and learned as much as I could. And then when it got to being about right at the middle of 2011, I got with a few other friends of mine, and we got to the point to where we want to build a team of people like myself that want to further the paranormal field, want to network with other people and learn about what's going on. We're not trying to look better than anybody else. We're not trying to say we got anything better than anybody else or do anything better. All that. With we wanted to get together where we could help a lot of people. We do our paranormal tourist thing, go to different places to check things out. I've been to like Penner's Asylum. I've been to Rhodes Hotel. I've been to, Virginia City, places throughout Florida, St. Augustine, the Thomas House here in Tennessee, a couple other. I mean, I've been, many different places. That's fun. But I've also done, probably now that I'll be 43 this year, I've probably done more than 600 or 700 cases that I've been able to do. Now, not all of them have been solved completely because, I don't know everything. Like I always say, I might know a lot, but I don't know everything. So sometimes I'll get to a point where maybe I might not know enough, and I'll contact another team or another person that I may think that might be able to have that kind of knowledge or that kind of experience and say, I've got this case. I've got this going on. You got any ideas? What do you think? And would you want to come over and help out? And then same with like if there's something pretty vicious or something where it gets to the point to where it's more than what I can handle, I'll get a hold of some clergy friends of mine or folks that actually deal with that kind of stuff on a daily basis or a week, or a constant basis to be able to handle it better than me. And it's ever since then, it's just been a passion of mine. It's something I love. I love to be a part of it. I love the folks that I've met and made friends, just like Mike here as well. I love these folks. I'm excited, and people that spell it, that's real investigators. It's to me, it's fun to meet these folks, to learn about their experiences, because when people are telling me about their experiences, I'm learning from them. I'm learning what did you do during this? What happened? Oh, well, that's great. And maybe I can, if I come across something and you solved it that way, then it's a way that I can, help those as well doing the same type of stuff. But, like that. Yeah. I mean, it's just something that's been with me since I was, like I say, ever since I could move around really. Cause I've had, I've seen things, shadows, I've heard things, when I was really little and felt weird stuff that I didn't know what I felt. And it took me probably 10 or 12 years to even get to that point to where I even understood what I was feeling, and then kind of just took it from there and started doing more.
Do you remember your first investigation as a team?
As a team, I sure do. Kitty, you're going to have to cut that out. Stop, baby. I get the squirt bottle out. But yeah, absolutely. Let's see. very first case was here, actually here in Tennessee, and we were at this one location. It was out in a trailer, like a double wide trailer. This trailer park, and these folks had some issues. They had sounds and things like that going on. They had somebody that was around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. It was some stuff. They would knock things knocking over, stuff like that. And come to find out that, well, I'll skip through a little. I'm skipping the whole thing, but let me tell you a little about that first. But this lady had a lot of depression because it was a husband and wife. Lady had a lot of depression. She had a lot of things going on with her. She felt really sad. It wasn't, anything that was good wouldn't make her happy, wouldn't smile. It was a lot on her, and he was trying to help her out. See, I even when I take these cases that might be paranormal, I'll try to help the folks themselves too, because I'm an ordained minister. So I'll sit down with the folks, and if I can make them feel better, whether it's going to be a paranormal case or not, then I think that I've won that case. Mm-hmm. So once we got through we got some investigation going. We went that night. We caught 2 voices. One of the voices said, "I am here," and I can't remember what the other voice actually said. I remember the "I am here," but and then one of our guys actually had got touched on his side. So that was enough for us to be like, well, all right, we're going to come back, because we don't just go for one investigation, check it out, then we're done. We actually go 2 or 3 times. The first time is just kind of an initial, go check it out, see if we can catch some voices, see if we can catch some stuff on cameras, mm-hmm. see if we can see something ourselves, see if there's anything going on there. Get kind of baseline stuff with the EMF meters, what kind of power, if there's power lines close. If they have exposed wires, things like that throughout their house, it might just make them feel paranoid instead of seeing things, just the basic kind of stuff. Then that next day, we'll come back, or whenever we can come back, that next few days, whatever, we'll come back through, we'll do a night investigation. We'll sit around at night with our cameras, check out things with our full spectrums, with our IR. We'll set up laser grids. We'll set up, geophones, every little thing we can set up, at least three different pieces of equipment in each area, because myself, I like to have at least 2 or more, because if you got one piece of equipment showing stuff, if you don't have another one verifying that thing right there could be just having a bad battery, or it could be, it could be anything. It could be somebody forgot to turn their phone off and stuck it on their cupboard or something, didn't even know it. So, we went back. Okay. So now the premise of how I investigate. When we went back the second time, we actually saw a shadow walk through the back door of the room that we were sitting in. We were sitting in kind of a living room area, kind of like a diner. It's kind of like a half dining room, half living room, how those big double wides have, And we saw something literally had walked through one of that back door towards this back girl's room. And so we had got some of that on camera. After we had come back 3 or 4 times, we had found out that she had a family member that had passed away recently. And this family member was one of her uncles that she kind of considered like her dad, because her dad had passed away when she was really young, and her uncle was really close to her, and they used to come around, hang out with her all the time. It was kind of like her father figure. And when he had passed, he had, to me, in my opinion, I always say in my opinion, because like I say, I don't know everything. So, it's my opinion that I think that he had come back to let her know that he was okay, that he's going to be there to watch over, and that she's going to be okay, because nothing ever happened that was malevolent. Nothing, like I say, nothing happened bad. It's just once in a while some stuff would get knocked over. But then these things that actually got knocked over was stuff that he had give her. And it was all the specific stuff that he had give her. Symbols. Right. And it wasn't just, it was going in there and knocking up stuff, knocking things. It wasn't a random, like a little poltergeist would, go in there and just throw shit all over the place. It wasn't like that. It was literally these specific things that he had given her. And she didn't notice that until after we went back a few times. I said, now these things, where did you happen to get these things at? Well, and then she started getting into that story, telling about, well, this, my uncle, give me this. I was like, so your uncle had give you all of these pieces, all these pieces, all these items, all these things. Yes. I said, there's your key right there. I said, he's trying to say, excuse me, he's trying to say, hey, this is me. I'm here. You know, nothing had been thrown at her, nothing, you know, even in the room. I said, was it a specific time that he used to get up in the mornings or anything? She said, yeah. I said, well, what time was it? It's about 4:35 in the morning. He'd get up before anybody else when it's still dark, make him some coffee, and he'd always rumble around and then sit down, and then everybody finally get up at 6 or 7 or 8 or whatever. I said, well, there you go. He's coming by the exact same time that he had been doing, just every morning he'd get up just to let you know, hey, now I said, now to solve that, what we did was I said, well, what you need to do is come in here one morning about that same time, make some coffee, sit down near where he used to come in and sit down and hang out once in a while with you, and talk. I said, just talk, honey. I said, don't worry about talking to something. Don't worry about record. Just talk to him, honey. I said, talk to him just like he was sitting right with you. And it wasn't too much longer after that. It stopped. But now, after that, a few years after that, there had been a couple things, but it was still just like a hey, I'm here, and then it was it, and then it wouldn't happen for another year or another however long. But that was a pretty cool little. That was one of my coolest ones, and it was really cool that it was our first real team case, because everybody had to really team. It was a team thing. You know, we had some that was running our audio stuff, some that was running our video stuff. I had some that had to set up the location, kind of where we wanted to be, how we wanted to be there, things like that, you know. And then I had my medium, you know, she was doing kind of her first little deal with the full team, and it was a really cool experience. And for us to be able to actually solve the case, and for the girl and the guy to have some peace of mind, and to, you know, feel better about that whole thing, I think it was a big win in all cases.
What about a case where you had to kind of call for backup, or was kind of like above your pay grade, where you needed help, you couldn't solve it, or something was maybe a little too dark, or something like that you've experienced?
Now the 20 some odd years that I've been in, I've literally only dealt with real dark stuff twice. Okay. And this is why I tell everybody, don't jump on the demon train. I mean, it's, you know, some of these things literally can just be a pissed off person that was pissed off during their lifetime, and they're pissed off now because they're dead. And yeah, and this, buddy, you got to quit teaching that cat that. Get down, goofball. Yeah, Bruce, you come up here, sit with me, tell everybody hi. He's got a Twitter. My cat has a Twitter.
That's awesome.
If you look up at Bruce the Bat Cat, that's my boy. he's got 43 followers so far, so he's doing pretty good. But I'm digressing. But here, what am I talking about? Oh yeah. But it's why I always say don't just jump on the demon train, because this one in particular, and I had called a few people actually for this one. There was a lot of stuff going on behind this man's house. And it wasn't even in like a big residential area. It was literally just behind a man's house, like in his backyard, and all this kind of stuff going on. The reason he had called me or our team was because something had threw a rock through his back window where he did his dishes. Like it was just something, and he felt like it was something trying to be at him. Like, you know, he had done something. He was like, man, this thing seems like it's trying to attack me, whatever's going on. Every time he'd go out in the backyard, he'd feel like something's watching him. He'd you know, it felt like he's being like a peeping Tom's watching him every time he'd go out in his backyard. He said one time he went out to his backyard, into his garage, something had actually pushed him from like your shoulder blades, put one hand on both shoulder blades, pushed him like that against a wall. Like it was somebody pushing him, literally, just like somebody grabbing, pushing him. Wow. And so he's like, well, you know, he's telling me, he's like, well, he said, I felt like something's trying to hurt me. I don't know what it is. I said, okay, so we'll do like I do. You know, we'll bring everybody. We'll walk through. We'll check some things out. We'll do some real investigation on it. We'll get you some voices. We'll get you something. We'll try to take some photos, something like that. He said, great. So, well, we went there. I went through the backyard, couldn't find, you know, I couldn't really catch anything. I went through the garage, couldn't really catch anything. I went through his house, couldn't really catch anything. When I was getting, when we were like, well, we're not sure if anything's going to happen, so we'll have to probably come back. So we're going to go ahead and load up. We're going to go ahead and head out for now. And I said this out loud. I said, we're going to have to head out for now. And next thing I know, I hear some kind of growl, some kind of something like that coming from the back door. Quit, buddy. And I wound up spraying this whole bottle at her. He's just being a bad boy. All right, anyway. And I heard this kind of growl thing, and it sounded like it was from the back door, because where we were parking, it was right up against the garage, and his back door was there on the back kind of side of his house, where we're parking. And it sounded literally just like a Rottweiler, or like a deep, deep growl. I mean, it was like a kind of sound. So it perked my ears up a little bit and puckered my butthole, because I didn't know what was going on. So, I was like, hey man, I heard something. I told my buddy, I was like, it's with me. I said, I just heard something. There's something going on back here in this little area. And so we said, all right. So we kept going around, walked around the house a little bit. I mean, we even stayed another I'd say probably another hour now, just because of that one sound. And right before we get ready to leave, heard it again. I said, all right, so we're going to have to come back. We're going to bring some more equipment, some more stuff, kind of set up a little bit more. And I'm going to bring a friend of mine at the time. He's a Catholic priest. And I said, I'm going to bring a friend of mine because I don't really know what's going on with this. We had went, and when I had got to this point, I mean, we had went back. Even before that right there had even happened, we had already went back 2 or 3 times, and we wouldn't catch anything else besides that. But when I would kind of walk around in that area, I wouldn't hear anything. But when every single time I would start saying, all right, well, we need to kind of collect our stuff. We're going to have to head out. We're going to leave. We're going to go away. I do this anyway during investigations because it seems to bring things out anyway. But at this time, this was the first time I had started saying this out loud. And so I was like, all right, so we're going to go. Well, we had come back. It was about a week later. And I said, all right, I'm gonna do the same thing. We'll set up just like we was doing last time. And I'm going to say, hey, man, we're going to take off. And I'm going to see if you can pick up anything or see anything, because he's a medium as well. And I said, all right, I'm going to get ready. We're going to leave. We're going to collect everything. We're going to go. And he said, all right, well, let's do it. And next thing you know, you hear the same sound, exact same sound come from the exact same area. Except this time you hear he had that old screen door kind of, that outside screen door. It goes on houses that has that kind of sound, aluminum. And you hear this growly thing, and next thing, and you hear, and it hit, like, I don't have anything to, it sounded loud. It sounded like something had hit this aluminum door completely. And it made me jump. I'm not scared of anything, but man, things will make me jump in a heartbeat. Of course, then I'll shake it. Yeah, start. There you go. I'll get started. I mean, I'm not gonna lie about that. And then of course, I'll gear up and go right back into it though. But he said, all right. He said, I'm picking something up too. He said, I feel something. I don't know what's going on. So we were there probably another few hours, and he started telling me, my clergy friend, he started telling me, he said, man, I'm not picking up demonic or nothing. He said, but I'm picking up this, like somebody, it felt like he'd killed people, lots of people, and something like that. And I said, all right. I said, keep going. And next thing you know, he said, well, it seems like this guy was early 1800s kind of clothing. He comes out, he starts just describing out all of his clothing, describing how his face looked, doing all this other stuff. And I said, well, what can we do? And he said, the only thing we can do is just, I'm going to say a prayer. I'm going to cleanse the house. He did a lot of stuff. I mean, this is actually my first experience with that type of stuff, with like the cleansing the house, with all the prayers, with all the the protection. I started to say protection spell, protection. Protection spells too, because even prayers are spells. All the protection, the words, things like that. And man, that's even kind of one of the first few times that got me further into learning how to do that kind of stuff, to go through to do cleansings, to do protections on houses, to even just the basic, like taking lemon water and salt, sea salt, and actually just wiping things down, stuff like that, because that'll cleanse. Like even a mirror, if you got a mirror in your house, you think got things going on, if it could be a portal or something like that, take lemon water with sea salt, mix it up, wipe that thing down, it'll actually cleanse it and seal it off. And it'll do the same with property. We actually did that with the property. You get all that same stuff, and there was some other stuff he had put in it too. That's the reason I'm doing this. It was a brown kind of stuff, but I can't remember what he put. He put something else in it, and he's kind of did it in there, but it was just basic herb. I'm not sure, okay, but I just remember it was just a browny look kind of stuff, looked kind of leafy, brown leafy looking stuff, and it could have been anything really. But we took it on the property and went around the whole property, literally the property line, and just poured that water out as we went all around, and that was, it cleansed that house, and it cleansed it completely. Nothing ever happened after that. Sealed off the property. Even the guy, he said, like himself was feeling like he was lethargic and feeling bad and feeling drained, and like, it's just like he had run marathons, and but he hadn't done nothing but get up and just walk around the house or something that day and stuff. So like even after that, like he had felt like he had been, felt better. He felt like lifted. He said he hollered at me like it was the next day or a couple days later. I don't remember, but he had hollered at me. He's like, man, he said, dude, I feel like I'm like running around on Nike Airs, like you'd done the pump up on it, and I'm just like floating around. He's like, I feel completely different. I feel happier, and I was like, great. I was like, that's wonderful, man. And it, it just this what my buddy had said. He said it just felt like there was just a guy there that just was just a mean mean old guy that had been killing people like in that early 1800s, and just maybe he's just one of them ones that maybe he was like those the Hatfield McCoys. You ever heard those guys?
Oh yeah.
Maybe it's just like them. Maybe he just didn't give a shit and went and took down who he didn't want. And that could have been how that was, but that was one of the few kind of more evil kind of type people. Even the one, now I've came across demon before. That was when I was a little bit less, I guess, what you call seasoned. This was before, this was a little bit before I really kind of knew really much going on. And I talked to I told Mike and Dave about this before, but I was in me and a friend of mine, we were at his house, and back behind his house, there was a old abandoned railroad track that had run back through there. There's big warehouses, big houses, and all this kind of stuff, and every bit of it had been abandoned. And there had been stuff going on at these nearby houses, like it just stuff, all kinds of random stuff been going on. And I had went to do, like, me and my buddy had went to do this investigation before I should have known how to handle this. And I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to go in by myself, and you're going to hang out here. Because I was trying to be all, it's easier for me to pick up stuff when I'm going in by myself sometimes than it is if I got somebody with me. But I always say, you got to bring somebody with you, whether or not they're going to be right there with you or not, because there's more than just paranormal that could hurt you. There could be something like an obstacle, or so you might walk on a hole and break your ankle, and who you gonna holler at, stuff like that. But I had got in the side of this warehouse, and it was an office, like in the back area. And I went back through there, and we had our walkie-talkies and all that stuff. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to walk in here by myself. I'm going to shut the door. There was no electricity to this place. Even the closest power lines were probably a half a mile away at least. So there's no really external, electromagnetic frequencies or any kind of nothing like that going on in that area. And so we started picking up stuff on our EMF meters. So I got back into that little just dark room, and I sat down in the back of it and just kind of sat there for a while. About an hour later, after I got in there for an hour, I checked in with my buddy. I was like, hey, Steve, I'm out here, or I'm doing good. He said, all right, buddy. He said, just let me know. He said, I'm just kind of walking the property, checking things out. I said, okay, next thing, and then I shut that off. As soon as I shut that off, I start hearing something on the outside of the door. And it was kind of like a scratchy scratch kind of stuff. Not quite like my guy that had come see me when I was little, but it was more of a scary ass shit. It was kind of like a scratch, like kind of sound. And the door had that exact scary kind of, horror friggin' sound to it. Click. Kind of sound. So if, I mean, that's of course that's going to happen by myself. And then it stopped, and I was like, oh, all right, somebody there? I was like, somebody there? Something going on? What's going on? Is there somebody there? I checked with Steve real quick. Steve, you out there? He's like, yeah, man, I'm still out here. I was like, all right, I got something going on. He said, okay, holler back if you need me. So I put that back down, and I hear it again. And it's kind of scratchy, and it's kind of like it's just scratchy. It just a full scratch, and it keeps coming a little. It seems a little closer, and it hits the side of this desk that's near me. And I was like, all right, who's there? What's going on? So I stood up. I'm kind of up against the wall. I'm ex-military, so I always make sure something's on my back. I hate something coming up from behind my back. So I had to make sure something was on my back. So I kind of backed up a little towards the wall, and I said, all right, what's there? What's there? And the next thing I know, I hear the scratch right there below me, just literally like it's standing in front of me. And I feel this. Okay, you've been around horses before. Mm-hmm. You get this kind of sound. Okay, that right there was right in front of me, about right here, breathing on my face.
Wow.
And as I'm looking, directly into the dark, because it was dark as shit in there. There's no windows in that little office. As I was looking directly towards that back area, it looks like there's two little red eyes right in front of me, and just breathe. I mean, it scared the living shit out of me. I got scared. That was the first time I was really scared. Yeah, I mean, it got me, and I mean, it froze me up. And I said, Lord Jesus, I said, give me a strength to get out of this, please. I said, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know how I'm gonna get out of this. I don't know what this is. And it kind of felt like it was getting closer, and I could feel this. I mean, literally, I can right where I'm touching on my nose, I could feel that right there, and it's breathing. There's no wind. What really got me is I know for a fact there was no windows, there was no air vents, there was nothing whatsoever that could put that air on my face that close, because even where that door was even still, it was. Let's see, it was probably, I'm going to say it was still probably 20 foot from me, the door itself. So there's no way that little bit of air could be right here. And at the time I was wearing a short sleeve shirt, so there was no air on my arms. There was nothing. I didn't feel it on my neck. I didn't feel nothing else, but right here, breathing, excuse me, like that kind of sound. And scared me. After I said that, I said, Lord Jesus, I said, get me out of this. I said, I'm going to get out of this. I felt tough after I said that. I always say that because that's one of the first times I actually called on Jesus when I was during an investigation. It made me feel tough. I mean, I felt like I had an armor on. I felt like I could just beat the shit out of anybody after that. But it puckered me up a little bit, and I said, "Get out of my face right now!" And then it just seemed like I don't know if it was gone, but it just seemed like I felt like there was a door. I felt like there was a door. It opened up, because once that thing was sitting right here, standing right here in front of me, breathing at me, I felt like this is what I felt like. I felt like I was closed. I felt like something had me. I just felt, not physically. I didn't feel, it wasn't on me. It was just some of my abilities, the way I was picking up. It just felt like I was in a cage. And soon as I just puckered up a little bit and said, get out of my face right now. As soon as I said that, it literally felt like there was a door, and buddy, I got my ass out of there as fast as I could. I run outside. I got busted outside, run out that door real quick. And Steve said, "Oh shit, dude." Yeah. So he's like, "Are you all right?" And I was like, "Man, I don't know." I said, I don't know what I just saw. I saw something with red eyes. This thing was breathing on me on my face. So we're going to get out of here. And that was literally the one out of every single time I've ever done anything that had, I said, nope, I'm not going back to that. I'm not dealing with that. And, I never did get to go back. I'd like to now, just because I've dealt with stuff now. I know how to handle those kind of things. I've got the muscle memory to be able to do that stuff. But back then, man, I was probably, I don't know, I was probably 18 or 19-year-old. I was probably young, and it was enough, man. I mean, right now it's giving me chills down my back just thinking about it, because I mean it was scary. I mean, I don't get scared much. I mean, I've been face to face with a lot of things since then, and I've rode in fast cars over 170 miles an hour. I mean, I've done all kinds of crazy, scary things. I jumped out of planes when I was in the military. Just all kinds of scary things, but that one time right there, buddy, scared the living crap out of me. And I can tell you right now that I do 99%, I'm not going to say 100% because I didn't go back to verify, but 99% say that was demonic, and he didn't want me there, didn't want me to know what was going on, and wanted me out of there, or wanted me. I mean, heck, I don't know. I mean, the way it did, it got so close to me that it felt like it kind of wanted me. And I was like, no, that's just not going to happen. I'm out of here, Steve. We're leaving. We're gone. I don't care. We're not coming back. He's like, all right, let's get out of here. If you're scared, I ain't going in there. I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's get out of here, man.
Now, staying on the demon train for one more stop, there's a big rise in paranormal teams, paranormal popularity. You're starting to see teams that exclusively hunt demons, demon hunters.
Sure.
That took a Google course saying that they're demonologists, and $27.99 with 30% off if you pay now type courses.
I got you.
What's your take on that? The demon hunters, are they flirting with disaster? For me, I think if people are going to go into that sort of stuff, they should learn how to talk to spirits from different eras. Just touching on your Hatfield and McCoy example, because if you're going to talk to some dude from the 1800s, he's going to sound and treat you differently than somebody in 2022.
Sure.
And I don't think a lot of teams really do that. I think it's a knock twice if you're here.
Yeah. Or the other thing is, if you're going to talk to a demon, know some Latin, right?
That's a big thing. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I'm okay with it. Some of them, I disagree with a little bit, but I do have a good friend of mine that teaches demonology. He's a clergy. Awesome. Those ones that really do take the time, let me say it this way: those that want to kind of delve into that kind of stuff, I would recommend to find clergy or someone that has been doing literally demonology for almost their entire paranormal career, because messing with demons ain't easy, and it's not smart if you don't know what you're doing. If you don't have muscle memory, is what I call it, muscle memory. If you don't have experience with that type of stuff, you have to be very careful, because if you're getting into this kind of stuff and they're doing the $29.99 free, whatever, like you're saying, you're not really gonna know what you need to know. And your folks that have been well seasoned, your clergy, or even shamans and things like, the ones that have dealt with that otherworldly kind of type of being, are the ones that you need to want to learn from. Myself now, I've not taken any kind of demonology course. I've learned a lot about demons and different names and how to handle them and things like this. And I've got friends of mine, like I say, in clergy, like if I do come across one and I don't know what I'm doing, I'm gonna holler at somebody fast, and because having that kind of stuff around is not safe. Especially for yourself. It's not safe for the person or people or animals or any living creature that is in the location that this thing has been, it's been around. But I'm okay with it. Some of it I'm okay with, but I'm not them. It's not my life. If they feel like they want to, learn more about demonology, I support it. But I would recommend to those folks that you do find somebody that's well experienced, well versed in it, or someone that can, maybe go, like you can go with on these investigations, to quote unquote apprentice, like the knights would with their apprentices, go with these folks, learn from them, see how they handle it. I've been on 3 exorcisms myself, and I've seen it happen. And those were scary as crap. What has caused me not to want to do it myself, but I will I will go up to the point to where it is needing an exorcism, and then I'll call somebody. But I can handle it up until the exorcism part of it. If I needed to do that, I say that I've got full belief in the Lord Jesus, that I know that that I could probably pull something out of somebody. But if it's your higher level demon, or your demon general or something, when it really gets to being something very vicious, that's maybe could kill somebody or take their life, then I'm going to call somebody else, because I think that it's when you get into this demon stuff and demonology, that it's unsafe. I mean, it's especially for even if you think that you might know a little bit, if you haven't taken or learned or had the experience for many, many, many years, you might be safe, but you may bring that thing with you, and it may follow you, and your family is in danger, or your pets can be in danger, because demons don't give a shit if it's an animal that you love or if it's a person you love. They will attack every single thing that is about you and bring you down to their level until that it's getting to the point to where they can oppress you or they can possess you, and then you're pretty much screwed after that. But I'm okay with it. Like I say, I'm fine. But those folks that just kind of go out and hunt demons and stuff without having any kind of experience, or without learning, or at least reading one book, good detailed book about demons and demonology, I think it's unsafe, and I disagree with it. But like I say, I'm not them. I'm not. That's their life. If they want to do it, go. I'll support it. But I don't recommend it.
That's for me. I wouldn't want to get the Google course. I would want to go apprentice, like you said. I would want to learn from an actual person.
Yeah.
Could you tell us some of your exorcism observation stories?
What now? Say it again, please.
Can you tell us some of your exorcism observation stories?
I'd rather not, if that'd be all right.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Well, since we're on the subject, I think the other thing is a lot of folks don't necessarily research the area or the property. And I bring this up as an example, being out west, and I'm sure applies in the Southeast too. I had a very, very Catholic family that found my website, and they were like, crazy stuff's going on. And they kept talking about how they had their local Catholic priest, because they were Latinos, but from Arizona, so Catholic. Okay. And every time he came, it got worse and worse and worse. Well, it turned out where the subdivision was built used to be Apache land. There was a tribe. And so at the end of the day, it was a Native American spirit, which did not respond well to Catholic rites.
Sure.
We know the history.
Yeah.
And so they got the local, they got a shaman to come in to fix things from the tribe, and that cleared things up. But most people think the Judeo-Christian way is the way to go, and that's not always the case.
No, not at all. No, I'm glad you said that. There's many different ways that you can go in like that. Like you say, if you're dealing with Native American, bring a shaman in. If you're dealing with, because it matters. You can bring in, if the family's Jewish, bring a rabbi in. If your family's Christian, cool. Bring you a pastor in. Bring you somebody that deals with that same stuff. Whatever. I just want to show you. I even got a little shaman pouch. Cool. A buddy of mine, a good buddy of mine, he had passed away not too long ago. Cody Chris, he is a great man. But he sent me this. He sent me this. This pack's got all kinds of goodies in it, and I tell you, carrying this right here, even right then, I did. When I pick this up, sometimes I get chills down my arms, and it's always the arm that I'm carrying in. And I just literally, when I said that, I felt chill go right through here on my arm, and it's warm in here. I'm not glad there's no kind of, and I said. And it's something about that, it's usually the intent that goes into these bags. He had told me, he said, I'll tell you what's all in. I said, well, no, you don't need to. I said, I know what you're doing. And I know you know what you're doing too. And he said, I'll put you all kinds of goodies in there for protection, for healing, for all kinds of stuff. He told me. And I said, thank you, buddy. I said, appreciate it. And I'll tell you, carrying this thing I felt so empowered, and I swear I just felt it again right there.
That's awesome.
But I felt so empowered carrying that around. But like you say, it's a good thing to get in touch with their whatever family you were dealing with or whatever. Make sure you work through their religion if they're religious. If not, just bring in who you think might help you. And once that person comes in, if that don't work with whatever they're doing, try somebody else. Because there's bound to be some type of something that's going to be able to help you. And once you network and make friends with everybody you can, you'll find somebody that's going to help you at some point.
Belief and intent is powerful.
It is.
I've been schooled before, though, by some Native American who have become friends, and they've written their things. They're medicine men. They prefer not being called shaman. And one of them in the chat room said you should have that on a cord and wearing it around your neck.
Actually, it is. Right now I don't. See,
it looked like a short.
Well, I've got it.
Like
No, it's just tied up where I put it up right there.
Okay.
See, I just wrapped it up so I didn't, because I don't wear it at night. But yeah, I do. Yeah, right on.
I do too.
Yeah, for sure. I do wear this when I can, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome.
Well, yeah, Jake? What did she say up further up about the black smoke panther and
Oh yeah. So this is
we got somebody might know something.
Cricket.
Oh yeah.
Oh, cool.
Cricket little star.
Oh, what's up, Cricket?
I'll read it from the top down, eh?
Sure.
So this is from Cricket. I wanted to say something about Panther and Nick. Your southeastern indigenous bloodline falls between my two tribal bloodlines. Panther is my totem animal of warrior that some associate with darkness, but in truth, the cat is the guardian against darkness. You say you only met darkness twice, but I feel you have come in contact more. Your totem showed itself to you and has stayed with you. Your energy aura pushes it backward, and your draw to clergy validates that point. Just needed to say that.
Cool. Okay, right on.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Good stuff.
Oh, okay. I thank you. I've been schooled. I will start using medicine. Should I use medicine person or medicine man? Is okay?
Medicine men or women? Medicine person.
I don't know if gender is a big deal.
Maybe it's tribal healer.
Okay, tribal healer, medicine person.
Cricket will
will
here in a minute. Yeah,
that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is the first time I've heard not to.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh, no worries. I don't know.
it was a whole different conversation somewhere else, so it wasn't on the show. You didn't miss it on that. You didn't sleep through that one, Jake. You're
okay.
Yeah. Medicine clan or honored elder.
Elder. All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Honored elder.
Thank you for that.
We call them elders.
Very cool.
Okay.
We've got a few questions in the chat. So this one's from Melissa Becker out here in the Puget Sound area. Hey, Melissa.
Hi, Melissa.
So do you ever research the cultures, religions, or traditions with a particular site before you investigate to help guide your investigations?
Absolutely. That's a very important thing, because whatever location you're going to, you never know what. And one of the main things, the first things I ever do, like if it's a residential, if it's a place that's more into the town area, I'll head to the city clerk office or something like that, and I'll see if I can get some location knowledge of what had went on at the house, if there have been other folks that had lived in the house or the business or whatever location it could be. If it's further out in the country, I'll try to go around and ask, I'll knock on doors, because as you can tell, I'm a talker. I'll go knock on doors. It's neighbors and things like that, to say, hey, I'm here just checking some things out. Just curious, if there's anything, stuff like that. But absolutely, I think that is very important to be able to know as much as you can going in, especially, and even when I sit down with the folks, I'll sit down and ask them about their family history, even their medical history, their family history, like if they've had any, bad things going on through their family tree, where their family is from, if this is If this is like, say, the first location they'd lived in, now say if it's a bigger place where somebody don't live, I'll go and I'll check out the location itself. I'll write down names and addresses and things like that, and just try to look as much up as I can about the location. But yes, absolutely, that is one of the main things that I do.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
And we have another question from Julie Abbott. Hi, Julie.
Hi, Julie.
Have you ever had a spirit physically hurt you?
Yeah, oh yeah. No, that's a thing. Yeah, that's a thing. Throughout the many years that I've done this, I've been punched, I've been pushed, I've been pinched, I've been yelled at in my ear really loud, which was one of the scariest things that I've ever happened to me. Literally right in my, yeah, that was scary.
Wow.
That time, yeah, that was a big one. There was something in this lady's basement that had been making a bunch of noise, and of course it's a basement. It's either basement or attic where I always get drawn to, and there's always weird crap. But yeah, I was in a basement, and there was apparently this stuff had been going on for years before this lady even moved into this house. But even the person that lived there before her has told her, like, hey, we've had stuff going on at this house, just to let you know before you buy the house. But there was a young kid there that had been saying some stuff or something like that out loud, like a spirit, like a kid. And there apparently was a man that was watching over this kid. It wasn't none of that was bad. It wasn't evil. That wasn't, but it scared me. I was sitting on a chair, kind of in the corner area, and I was just asking basic questions like I usually do. I'll just start asking all kinds of questions, no matter, just anything. And then I said something. I don't remember what the question was. I said something. I was like, something. And then all of a sudden, it just goes, like that in my ear, and buddy, it puckered my butthole. I fell out of the chair. turned around. I'm like, what's going on over here? It had chills going all. It's okay, kitty. It's okay, honey. Sorry, my cat over here. It's like, dude, what's going on? You good? It's okay. But it got me knocked out of my chair and everything like that. But I stood up for a second. I was like, hey, we're good. Because I talk to spirits just like they're just me, and like they're you and me talking, because that's one of my main things. I'm like, just talk to these things. Just, they're people most of the time, and at least 90% or 80% of the time they're people, and if they're intelligent, they will talk to you if you'll just talk to them. You don't have to scream at them. You don't have to be pissy. You don't have to provoke. You ain't got to do all this other shit. Just be respectful and talk to them just like you're walking in somebody's house. Be like, hey, and this is usually how I walk into a house. Be like, hey, my name's Nick. Very nice to meet you. If you'd like to speak to me, that would be amazing. I just come to talk to you. Say if somebody called me there. This person had called me and was just curious. They didn't know what was happening, and I'm just here to see if I could find something out. I would really love to get the chance to talk with, just talk to these things. And that's kind of how I did with that. I was like, hey, are we good? So I remember saying that, are we good? And then I had caught something on that recorder that said, it's okay after that. So I was like, all right. So, because I played it back after that, because I do a lot of quick sessions, I call it. And I'll just record, say, hey, and then I'll turn it, really listen to it. But it's okay. It's like, okay, we're cool. So sat back down and just finished the investigation. But that one, and then, let's see, I've been pinched. I got pinched on the side back here. Right under my shoulder blade. I was walking down steps one time. I got pinched on, and I thought somebody was behind me. I honestly thought one of my guys was with me, but it wasn't. It was somebody pinching me. I guess it was. And these spirits and stuff will try to get my attention, because I'm very aware. I have a really high awareness of this stuff, and and I'm all for sitting down talking to them. And I guess they know that. They know that I'm a talker, and know that I'm there just to talk and hang out, because I don't ever come in all pissy and mean or provoky or come on, I'm tough. I'm going to come in and I'm going to do this, or none of that. I just come in as me, like I'm talking right now, and be like, hey, what's up? How you doing? I'm Nick. What's up? And that's it, and they'll react to me. But that one, we was walking down the steps from second floor as we was coming down. I felt something. It just pinched me right on back. I was like, oh, ouch. I was like, what's going on? I looked around. I don't know what's happening. Hello? And then just kept going. It pinched me again. And I was like, ow, what are you doing? Like, and that just, of course, that was just part of the investigation. Let's see. I've been, and then pushed was when I was walking through a hallway. Got pushed to the left. Let's see. I say kicked, but I don't know really technically what that was. But I remember I felt something on my leg one time. It kind of got me on my leg, but it felt like a foot. But I say kicked, so yeah, kicked too. Pretty much all of it, yeah. But it's because I asked for it. Actually, it's majority of the time I'm asking for it. I'm saying, hey, you're allowed to. Now I tell them this, and folks that's watching, if you're an investigator, make sure that when you say this, that you say it specifically. When I say this out loud, I'm saying you're welcome to use my energy, but you are not allowed to keep it. And I always say you are not allowed to keep it right after, because if you say you're allowed to use my energy and you don't say anything after and you just let them go, they'll attach to you if you're not careful, or they'll just straight up completely drain you. And I'll say, well, you're allowed to use a little of my energy if you'd like to, but you're not allowed to keep it. If you'd like to touch me on the shoulders, if you'd like to touch me on the side, poke me a little bit, whatever you want to do, just let me know you're around. Please feel free. I'm cool with it. So I'm usually asking for it. But if you go in and you ask for it, just how you're saying, like even the demon chasers, or you're coming in to whatever you're looking for, most of the time you're going to find it. So if you're asking for them to touch you, if you're asking for them to poke you or grab you by the arm or whatever, they're probably going to. So make sure you're ready for that. But yeah, many times, and it's wild. It's a wild experience, and it's pretty wild. You're not seeing what's going on. You're not seeing it. And you're getting touched or felt up by stuff that you're not even seeing. It's a thing, man. It's a thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
I often felt my deceased pets, my fur kids,
Yeah.
they come up and hit me in the back like they used to do when they were alive,
Yeah.
to get my
Yeah.
attention. And, hey, mom,
Sure.
hey, I'm here. Hey.
Yep. For sure. I've got one of my cats that does that. I missed her right now. I mean, she is, her name is Asia. She died of cancer.
Oh,
And she was my fur baby soulmate, not my person soulmate, but my fur. She was my baby, and she was like my daughter. And I watched her go through some really horrible stuff. But I tell you, when it gets, I still, at this time, I don't talk about this a lot, but I still deal with a little bit of depression and things like that. I come off, as this happy, good lucky guy, which I am, but I deal with a lot of stuff. I've dealt with a few things these past few years, so it bothers me once in a while. And, but I tell you, when it gets to that point to where I feel alone, or feel, I feel like there's the bad's never going to end, or if I feel, to that point, next thing I know, I'll hear a purr literally beside of me. And it's not my cats here, which I love them too. They come around me just like she used to. Like like if I'm sad or I'm upset, they'll make a point to come around and be like, "Hey, you're cool. It's all good, man." And that happens. And even like sometimes, not just the purr that I'll hear. I'll, like, if it's something going on, sometimes out of nowhere, like, like say you turn on Facebook and you see those past posts that'll pop up 3 years before, 6 years before, and it shows you that all of a sudden it's a photo. All of a sudden it's Asia saying, a pretty little picture saying, "Oh, hey," because I used to share a lot of fun photos of her, and if I'm feeling really bad, all of a sudden there's a cool little photo of her being happy, and it brings my spirits up, and it knows, say, "Hey, I'm watching you. I'm taking care. I'm still here." Because to me, pets are your angels. That's your, they're sent to you, especially the ones that come out of nowhere and find you. Those are your familiars. Those are the ones that are your specific guardian angels. As beings. They're there to watch over you, to take care of you. Like little Miss Kitty, she came to me right after Asia's daughter actually had passed of cancer too, which I'll tell you, that was a mess.
Yeah.
But I put her down because it was just getting to her. But luckily I was been able to do that. Felt pretty bad having to do that. But anyway, Miss Kitty, she came to me out of the woods, out behind my house. She was skinny as all get out. It was during a really cold part of winter too, and she was coming over the hill, and she just meow meow, and she wasn't just meowing random. She literally looked. I mean, she was looking into my eyes just like a person would, meow like that, and I felt like I know that I need to save her, and I know that she's here for a reason. I said, well, you come over, let's do whatever we got to do. The time I couldn't bring her in the house because it just wasn't set up for that, so I set her a whole thing on the outside. I made her a house. I grabbed this big it's like a dog carrier I had at the time, real old big thing, but I'd kept for a while, and set it up, put a bunch of stuff in it. Then I set up a tarp up, and I got this heating lamp. I plugged it in, so like she had like this whole, covered up, and it was snowing at that. So I had this whole tarp with a heating lamp where she could go in and hang out, and like, man, she loved it. And like, I protected her from this raccoon, and that was pretty wild. That it's something that she knew that I would protect her, and she's been with me for, I think Scrimpy passed about 2 years ago. And ever since, Miss Kitty, she's been my I guess she's probably one of my familiars, and I felt like she was Asia reincarnated a little bit at sometimes, because she'll do stuff that Asia used to do. Because I think that once these pets that you love and these are your familiars or your angels that have been with you for a long time, and sometimes their lifespan is only so long, but our souls are immortal, and I believe that theirs are too. And I just think, at that time, once they're gone, they know, well, I need to come back. That person may still need me, or I need to be around. So they just find a way to come back to you somehow. And I just, I think Miss Kitty may have been a part of Asia coming back to say, hey, I'm here, I'm still here with you, and to take care of you. So that's, that's the way I think about that. I just kind of digressed a little bit, but I love my cats.
Oh no, you're in good company here. Yeah.
So we talk about all my fur dogs, my puppies.
Yeah, right on.
And Cricket's saying, see, your attachment to cat. Go back to that cat.
I'm a Leo. I'm a Leo as well, so I think that's a big thing with me. Yeah, absolutely, I agree.
I don't know, man. I'm a Leo, and I still love my German Shepherds. That's just...
Yeah, I love some German Shepherds. I lived in a house out in Reno with a friend of mine at the time, and they had a big, pretty German Shepherd. Boy, he is just the prettiest thing. And once I get some room at some point, if I get a little bit bigger than what I got, I may get a German Shepherd, because man, having him around, it was so funny, and the cats got along with him. That's why I got cool with it, because they were cool together, and just looked at each other. It was like, hey, you're big, but it's cool,
and they'll usually kind of bow down to the cats too. They let the cats be the boss. So
mine are kind of boss anyway. So yeah.
That's good.
So I got questions.
What, Jake?
What you got?
So usually I cover 2 topics, and that's gadgets and the ghosty shows.
Cool.
So let's.
I like all of it. I have a computer degree, so if you want to get into gadgets, we can do that too.
Okay.
Or gaming, whatever. Let's do it. What do you got?
All right. So with the gadgets, with your team now, like what gadgets? What are your favorite gadgets? Which gadgets do you take out?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, my main one is me. I always say this, and when people ask me this, they say, "Well, I'm talking about something you hold in your hand." Well, me personally, I think you yourself is your best equipment. You always will be your best equipment, because whether you got abilities or not, your body is going to react to anything unnatural in the air. Anything around you, whether you get these chills, whether you get a headache, whether you feel pressure around your body, whether you feel sick to your stomach, whether you can't breathe, or you get that temporary blindness kind of stuff. Your body itself is literally your number one best piece of equipment. Now, besides that, number 2 is my audio recorder. Because your audio recorder, whether it be a tape tape audio recorder or a digital recorder, to me, is some of the best pieces of equipment that you can have, because you can catch these sounds or the voices, or you can actually talk to these things, directly with this piece of equipment. The next one, of course, is your basic stuff, your camera. I like to have my full spectrum and my IR cameras, because, you got to have something that's going to be able to catch what's around you. So you're going to have your cameras. Other than that, I love a geophone, because, you're going to have some kind of vibrations going on around you that you can't catch any other way. I do like some of Paranology stuff. Like, they have a lot of these static detectors that picks up that static in the air, things like that.
That Y-shaped one? Are you talking about
that one? Well, that's no. That one too. It does similar. It's just a smaller version of it. The periscope. Okay. It's got the little the little things all the way around it. Mm-hmm. Like sticking out like it right there. Yeah. I like that one specifically a little bit, because when it picks up stuff, it'll show you what direction it's picking it up in. Mm-hmm. So that gives me a better idea of which way to look and stuff. And at the same time, though, when I'm even having just that one piece of equipment out, I've still got two other pieces of equipment out, because, like I say, you've got to have more than just that one. You can't rely on one piece of equipment, because that one piece of equipment could be faulty. Or it's especially some of these ones, it's made by folks, not a manufacturer type stuff, because you could have something that had been crossed something that may just be an incorrect piece of equipment. I like a millimeter, because I like to have something that's got a lot of pieces of equipment in one, but now not all of them are good that has a lot of pieces of equipment in one, because you might have some that don't have enough shielding in that piece of equipment for it to be able to register all of them separately. So you got to make sure you're getting the right. That's why I like a millimeter. The mills, especially the newer ones, tend to have a lot of better shielding inside. So if it's picking up, say, temperature, and it's picking up, it's giving off that, I like the one with the antenna, because I like to have something that's going to go off if something's around me, because I like to poke, poke around. You know what I mean?
We just did that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I like even. I remember when I went to Rhodes Hotel in Indiana. I went. And there was something me and a friend of mine at the time had went in one of the bathroom. I don't know what that room was, but this thing kept getting behind me, and I'd hold it in front of me for a second. It would go, then it'd go off. And I'd feel around, nothing. Then I'd hold it behind me, and it'd go off. So then I'd turn around, face that way, and then it'd go off and then it would stop again. Then it kept getting around behind me. I don't know if it was just something scary that's trying to scare me, or just something that was, I don't know what it may have been trying to latch onto my neck, because that's one of the main spots for those for spirit attachments is your neck. So you have to watch that. You got to carry something that maybe if you can rub you some holy water or olive oil, or just some kind of something anointing. I mean, just anything. If you can carry that around and protect you, tiger, just anything whatsoever. If you can protect that back part of your neck. But I think it was just kept, but that kind of stuff. I love the millimeter like that. Anything that can really, show that there's something in front of me. That's what I like. I like my lights and whistles once in a while, but I like the ones more that's going to be showing me what direction this is going off in, or if it's something close like that, it's giving off that EM bubble. That, if it's something that can really show me something's in front of me or something, I can poke at it. Just something like that. Those would be my favorite types of equipments.
Yeah, I was going to say when we were in Powell River in Canada, it was pretty much we did the motion detectors, we did the Mel REM. That's the one you're talking about with the field. Yeah. And it was mainly a Boo Buddy because we love a Boo Buddy.
Love those little things. Yeah,
I love Boo Buddies.
Yeah.
And it's cameras, and our cameras had killer mics, which were just as good or better than the audio recorders that we had.
Yeah.
And an H4n, love an H4n.
Yeah.
Zoom
Yep.
H4n. Yeah, then that's pretty much what we use for everything.
We stayed pretty basic. We didn't use very many bells and whistles. We used the EDI plus, like the proximity sensor.
Yeah,
I love that EDI.
Yeah,
I love that EDI, man. It's so cool. Even just to look at, just having it in your hand, you feel like you're an investigator, don't you? Because it's all designed all cool. Yeah. I love that thing. Yeah, for sure. You're like,
You're a Ghostbuster thing.
I'm ready. Who you gonna call? Me. Yeah. I'm gonna call me. That's yeah, for sure.
And my next question is, when it comes to your team, Cage, is the ghost hunting team also called Cage the Darkness?
Yeah. I have Cage the Darkness Incorporated, which I have a few under it, and that's what Cage the Darkness Paranormal Investigations, which we have a Facebook site, and then I have Cage the Darkness Gaming, which we're starting our new esports and things like that as well. Cool. And then I have the Darkness Cage, which is our paranormal equipment store, which I got to work on that to republish the site. But yeah, that's kind of a branch. Got it. Branched out stuff.
So when it comes to, this is always a hot topic with ghost hunting, when it comes to getting new members on your team, do you do any vetting, or is it
absolutely
referral, or okay?
Absolutely. No, I mean, the first thing I'll usually do, which I'll actually be doing here soon, locally, is I just put the word out first. Hey, and I like to have a cookout. I mean, I'm Southern, so I'm a cookout guy. Plus, I'm a chef. Yeah, for sure. Plus, I'm a chef because I went to school and I've been in restaurants since I was 15, and so I like to cook me some ribs and things like that. But so I'll just say, hey, paranormal team, we're going to have an open call. You guys going to come out if you're interested. We'll get everybody together, and the folks that's really interested, one of the main things I ask them, is this something you're passionate about, and if it is, great. If it's not, why is it not a passion? What is it? What brings you out to be an investigator? Well, I like to enjoy ghosts. I like to have fun. That's cool. We have those folks too. I don't just have specific parts of my team that goes out to do cases, because you have your paranormal tourist. I'm half paranormal tourist. I like to go out and check out stuff too. So we'll have different groups to do different things. I've got CTDX, which is our main team, with myself and a few others that's very experienced, that goes to take these harder cases and these things that may be vicious or scary or something like that. We got our new people that come in, that want to learn. We have those. We have, come with us on basic investigations or going around checking. We'll go to cemeteries, whatever. Just basic stuff, just to check things out, just to get the feel of paranormal, because even going to some cemeteries, you can get some pretty paranormal craziness going on, and you can be touched. I got grabbed on the shoulder one time out here at Old Gray Cemetery in Knoxville, Tennessee, which has a thing that goes through it. What was the name of that thing? Shoot, I can't remember. I can't remember right now, but if you Google it, it's Old Gray Cemetery in Knoxville, Tennessee, and it has a being that goes through there, and that being will come up and grab you on the shoulder if you talk to it. But it's not a bad being. It's just there. It's protecting the area, protecting the location and the property and stuff like that. But, then we'll have some that don't even go on the investigation, that just helps us with the reviews on the stuff, that has a better ear for EVPs, because I'm very good at EVPs. I can pick out an EVP like no other. And I have a few others like that do the same. I have some that just watches, the videos that'll sit there because they're still investigators, but they're not, the field agents, they're not the ones that has to deal with that face-to-face stuff that might not be able to. Some that just sit but they're still getting to experience the investigation because they're watching the videos. Because say you got a 6-hour investigation. Well, not only do you have 6 hours of video, but you've got 6 hours of audio you got to listen to as well. So right there's 12 hours worth of work right there that you got done. See, a lot of people don't think about that. They just like, oh, you get to go and check out a ghost. Well, yeah, you do, but you got to realize there's behind the scenes, you're busting your ass, man. You're really working your ass off. And it's good to have folks to come in to do that kind of stuff. Some that I've got researchers that will research like how the Cricket, how she was mentioning, like doing the research of the location.
Oh yeah, Melissa.
Melissa. I've got some to do that does that. They'll call the libraries, or they'll call the city clerk's office, and they'll do the research for us, and then I've got some that's specific, that's like photographers, like professional photographer, videographers, that will go through the video. If we catch some stuff, say that we think might be an orb or something, they'll know if it's going to be a lens flare, or they'll know if it's going to be a slow shutter speed that might have accidentally caught something. It made it look like, that does that as well. So, there's a lot of different folks that has different parts to my team, so that way that everybody gets to have a experience. I've even got some that just runs the cookouts, because we have cookouts and stuff once in a while to do charities. We'll have and here soon I'm going to try to find a local to do something for Ukraine. I know, because I'm God bless each and every one of them out there that's dealing with that shit, because that's being ex-military. I know it ain't no easy thing dealing with hard kind of stuff like that right there, and these folks are dealing with a lot. So I'm going to try to see if I can get in touch. Maybe Red Cross or something, where we can, do an event, to get together, because we do events, stuff like that too. We'll throw us together an event. I've got a lot of friends of mine that do that are bands that have rock bands and things like that out in Knoxville. So we'll do some events, that runs our charity division. It does stuff like that. So it's we do a lot of different kind of stuff, man. We're just dipping our toes in all kinds of things.
Awesome. I was approached by another paranormal team that wanted me to come on board with. They're doing, I think he was wanting to call it something like Paranormal Unity for Ukraine, and just bring a bunch of teams together and put on events nationwide and get donations for them and
great,
what have you.
That's cool. That's very cool.
I'll let you know when I know more, and maybe
please feel free.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, be great. Absolutely. Man, watching that, seeing that here and there, man, my heart goes out to every one of them, man. Just watching them with their families, and because you just got to think, we, as much issues that we deal with here, we deal with a lot back and forth, whether it be political, whether it be, whatever, we deal with a lot of different kind of stuff, and but we live in a country that's free, and we don't have to deal with a lot of this stuff like that right there, and to watch these folks losing their homes, and watching these elderly folks and these kids and stuff like that's losing it, and that some of them have their pets and they're carrying them with them, and it breaks my heart watching and seeing. And if I swear, if my back was any good right now, I would get my ass and I would go over and help them, because I have seen prior military from United States, France, Poland, and there was a couple other ones that have just went and met and just joined the fight. And I'll tell you, I am that person right now that if my body would let me, I would be over there in a friggin' heartbeat, because, I've always been that person that if somebody can't protect themselves, I will protect them if I can. And watching them lose their homes and lose everything they've known, and I'm about to cry about this, because it's breaks my heart watching these folks deal with this kind of stuff. And if there's something that I can do or I can help, I'm gonna do everything I can. So yeah, that would be great. If you want to get a hold of me, if anybody's watching, if you got friends and family or anything like that's over there, God bless you and God bless them, because I hope that stuff ends fast and done, because man, it's a horror show watching that stuff.
That it is.
Yeah, totally.
I won't go political on it. I'm going to try to stay away from it.
Let's not.
Let's go off on that tangent.
I mean, the whole head scratcher is like their first cousins. Their first cousins
for sure.
The aggressor, and
it's a mess.
And the other thing, Canada trivia, is Wally, W-A, I think L-I. He's the top sniper in the world from Quebec.
Yep.
Just went to Ukraine.
Oh, wow.
There's a handful of Canadians that have gone.
I've seen a few.
Yeah. But
I've seen a few snipers. Force Recon. I've seen a couple Force Recon Marines, Special Forces, and I've seen a few infantry that here recently. I mean, so I mean, you never. I mean, it's to me, it's something, you know, just like everybody should be. You know, you see one bad thing happen, and no matter what it is, whether it be this that's very profound or small, man, you take a step to help these help. I
Yeah.
mean, if there's more positive people doing positive things, and more people helping people, no matter what the situation, you know, we're going to be better off for it. And I think that's a huge thing to be able to. Well, especially if, you know, if you got a lot of things going on yourself, and you take the time to even give somebody a hug, or give somebody a smile, or give somebody hope, or put somebody, you know, out of that bad situation that they're in, man, you have done great things. And that's something I live by each and every day.
Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing I'll say is there's the big thing on the Ukrainian soldiers rescuing the stray cats.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
You can
Okay.
see them. Okay, let's change
All
up
right.
the subject.
Yeah,
So,
shall we?
you were
Meanwhile,
on a
back at
little
the ranch. Yeah.
you were on a little reality TV ghost hunting show back in the day.
Yes, sir.
Curse, the Bell Witch. How everyone's always curious about the black box that comes from people getting cast on these shows. So what was your experience with that? How did it actually come together?
Like how did they get a hold of me?
Yeah, how did you get on the show and everything like that?
Well, the folks when they first called me, they asked about if I'd be able to help to do an investigation. They really didn't really tell me kind of that it was going to be a full series or none of that kind of stuff, or mini series, or you know, any of that kind of stuff. I said, yeah, man. I said, I'll be glad to. I was like, what, you know, what's going on? And they said, we had got your team name and your name from somebody, and they didn't tell me who, which whoever told them or whatever. Thanks, but that's awesome. Thank you. That was really cool. But they said we had got your name, and to get a hold of, they emailed me, of course, and they said we got your name, and we wanted to know if you'd be able to help. There's a pretty bad situation going on with a fella that you know, we're going to make a TV show out of it. And we're going to try to, you know, see if we can help this guy, and you know, go from there. And I said, well, sure, man, that'd be great. And then they kind of went more into detail. Oh, well, it's going to be this 5-part miniseries about the curse of the Bell Witch. It's a Bell Witch haunting. This descendant of the Bell, or the descendant of the Bell family, has had some things going on with him, and he's got a young son that has been dealing with a lot of stuff. And we wanted to try to bring in a team or somebody that's experienced that could handle this kind of stuff. Yeah, excuse me. And I said, well, let's do it. So they said, well, okay, well, then, you know, some things progressed. All the you know, the whatever, you know, all the stuff where they got me to go down there. And then once they brought me down there, we just kind of set up. The first time they brought me down in sections because I live close to the area. Okay. Where I live here in next to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, is only about 3 hours away from Adams, right there in Nashville, because I grew up in Nashville, actually. And which is so crazy. That's one of the things I told him. I was like, man, I grew up in Nashville, right beside Nashville and Laverne, and I heard about the Bell Witch ever since I was very young, and was so excited and wanted to always go, but I never went. So it was really kind of a blessing to be able to kind of have a chance to go to the location that I'd always heard about. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they brought me down. I went and visited a week at a time. I went down. You know, first time we went to the grave site. John's gravesite, okay. All the woods there. So we hiked back all the way back to that, did some stuff there. And that was pretty crazy that the site, because the gravesite itself wasn't even the actual tombstone that had been there before. Somebody actually came by and stole the old tombstones. That was even a new tombstone. Wow. It's crazy. Creepy. Yeah, it's crazy stuff. And then after that, they kind of took us around the town a little bit, and then we got to kind of meet a few people. Which the Adams people are really cool, man. Down to earth, just good old Southern Tennessee people, and that's me too. So I was like, I felt at home, you know, go walk around talking to people. But kind of did that, and then come back home. Then I went back again, and then we did more of the cave investigation. Walking through the cave, checking all that kind of stuff out, and it was really cool. And they one of the things I told him, I said, if you're going to bring me on, I'm not going to walk around and be any fake nothing. I'm not going to fake nothing. I'm not going to let you put me in a position to devalue my name or my team or what I do. And so they was like, all right, well, what can we do? I said, we'll go in, we'll do the investigation, and we'll just film it up and see what happens. And that's kind of how it was. We went in. They was like, well, here we're going to this location. You're going to go in with John and shit. What was that other guy's name? Chad. We're going to go in with them. We're going to bring his dog, which was Newton, which that dog was the shit. That dog was so awesome. That dog was a military dog. And when it had its vest on, you couldn't pet it because it was military. It was you don't want to do that. But when you it would sit at attention, which is the craziest thing ever. Like it was just. It's like that. But as soon as you take that vest off that dog, man, that little wagging its tail, and it would just run. It's just like a happy dog doing all that kind of stuff. And then he'd wrap it. I'm like, all right, well, cool. But yeah, having the dog there, I thought was really cool though, because the dog that's why I always say, like, having animals for investigators is cool. I mean, it's a good thing because they can investigate. Cats or dogs are pretty much any animal can pick that kind of stuff up, but I've only seen cats or dogs. But dog, especially, like, it would hear stuff in an area, and then the next thing we know, we'd hear something in that area, and then or we'd hear something, and then it would verify, poke its ear, it would. To me, it would verify it was hearing something, because dogs can hear better than anybody. So it'd kind of verify what the location. But when then after that, we had us a big old cookout. I love cookouts. We had a big old cookout, and they ate, and everybody just kind of had fun, and it's kind of about it, really. Just I was blessed with somebody just happened to put my name in their ear, and they got a hold of me, and it vetted me a little bit, see if I knew what I was talking about, and I did at the time, thank goodness. And had a blessing. It was just a really good time. I had fun with it.
Okay, so now that, because you've been behind the scenes, and this is also the other big debate, because it seems like you can tell which shows the editor does some work.
Sure, absolutely, Stevie.
And then you've got some where the ghost hunts are the ghost hunts.
Yeah.
And then you've got some that are actually, everything staged.
Sure, absolutely.
So, looking at the current slate of shows, you don't have to name names or everything.
I actually don't watch any TV show that's ghost hunting at all right now.
Okay.
I mean, I do have friends of mine that are in them, and I love it. I'm very happy for them. But I don't know. I'll watch you. There's friends of mine that do YouTube investigations. Okay. Where they do the live investigation, stuff like that. I'll watch those. But I mean, really, like, I'll sit down and watch them, something like the ones that'll do like storylines, that'll sit and they'll tell the stories and show the actual or not the they'll show the evidence that they had caught, like if they had that person had checked it out. But I don't really watch many of them, really, especially any that's on TV now. I not saying anything bad or good about them either way. I don't know. I just hadn't, and I think it was after I had been on that one, on Curse too. I felt like I had that experience. I thought it was cool. It was fun. I loved it. And I thank God every day that I got to experience it. And I've met a lot of people from it that I've called friends to this day that I'm so excited to get to meet, and had the blessing to be able to be a guest at events and things like that as well. And, stuff like that. But I will answer your question. To me, any TV shows that are paranormal, most of the time, to me, are 80% real and 20% extra, because you're on TV. I mean, it's TV. You want it to be exciting. You want it to be, you want it to draw you into the TV. It's Ghost Adventures. I know I've met Aaron a couple times. I know who these fellas are. They are investigators. They're real investigators, and they do go on these real investigations. but sometimes they kind of overact a little bit or bring out their emotions. But to me, that's what it is. They're wanting to draw you into the show. They want you to have fun. They want you to watch these shows saying, oh, hey, they want you on the edge of your seat and feeling what they feel and seeing their reaction and having that same emotion as they are. But it's TV. I mean, you got to take it as TV. But now a lot of these that are investigators that's on TV, they are doing real investigations, and it's fun to watch them, to be able to learn some of the ways that they investigate, to see how they do their investigations. But I always say, you don't just go by, like if you just watch TV shows and then you go out to hunt ghosts or investigate, don't just watch these TV shows to do it. Span out a little bit. If you do, these TV shows do draw you into the paranormal field, and you do meet folks that you're like, oh, this would be really cool to do something like they're doing. Well, great, do that. But also grab you some books. There's a lot of folks that write a lot of books about paranormal and how to investigate, or there's real documentaries where they'll sit and the whole time they're just showing evidence the whole time. Or I say, like how I watch a lot of my friends that go on YouTube that do these live investigations. Watch those, see how they investigate, learn from a lot more than just watching on TV. Because you do have to take it as TV, because it's TV, it's television. You got to take it as
entertainment. More
right, it's entertainment, which, but that's not a bad thing. That's what even when I was very young, the very first, I think it was, what was the first ones? I think the Ghost Hunters were the first ones. I loved watching them. I get a kick out of them sometimes. They're a little silly, but they're good people, and they're doing real investigations. So I got to get a few even off of them. I've learned a couple things from them, throughout my years and stuff. So I think you take it as entertainment, but also take it as, maybe if it's a light in the fire under your butt to be an investigator. That's great, because I think that's wonderful, because the more people we have coming into the paranormal field that's going to take it seriously, that's going to enjoy it. That's like me, that I get chills talking about it. I'll go out and grab books. As you can probably see behind me, I get every book that you can think of and read and learn and just watch. And like you guys, I'll sit and talk to you guys about stuff. I'll learn from you guys as you talk about your experiences and stuff like that. So I just think it's fun to watch them, but I don't actually, regretfully, I don't really actually watch any of them that's on TV.
Oh yeah, I'm totally addicted to them. But
yeah, it's cool.
What I tell a lot of folks is, okay, guys, they're like, oh, did you, we just watched Kindred Spirits or Ghost Hunters. I'm like, okay, just realize that show was 44 minutes. They were there for 4 days to make 44 minutes, folks. So
absolutely.
Drink some coffee.
Yeah, I can even verify when I had went to when I did was it the cave, the last episode when we went to do the full investigation at the cave, that was 5 straight days, and that episode was 40 minutes. So I can tell you from experience, it's behind the scenes, man. It's a lot more than you think it is. Yeah, going around it, but now some of them though, I get a kick out of that, the way that they'll be like, well, I stayed overnight. Well, really, they don't. They stay at a hotel, but it's cool. They'll go through the investigation. Be like, all right, we're gonna cut it here. We're gonna go down at the Holiday Inn. We'll be back in the morning and we'll do some more investigations. And then, but we're really here all night long. No, it's cool. It's a cool way. But now, maybe some of them now, if they do that, maybe they stay overnight at them. But it's funny. I get a kick out of some of them.
It's just like, look, it's past my bedtime. You want the best. You don't want. You didn't give me a hair and makeup budget. I'm going to bed.
Bring me a Red Bull in the morning and we'll be good.
Yeah, we'll be good. It's like, well, Pacific Northwest. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna need 20 ounce or 2 extra shots, not so much milk. Keep the crema. Yeah. And you need to knock on my door at 10:30 with my limo. We're good to go.
There you go.
Right. I was in a van. Yeah, it it was fun. I was in a big black van and then a big black truck. It was fun.
Looks like the mafia is driving around with
Just
some ghost hunters.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, no, yeah, willingly. Yeah, I did get to drive a cool Jeep. You see, there was a badass. I love that Jeep. I got to drive for a while. It was a like a hardtop Jeep. You'll see it when I first. Actually, I've got some scenes of that on my YouTube page. So if you go to my YouTube page, you can see that.
I dropped the YouTube in the chat.
Oh, right on. Yeah, I walk in. I walk out of it when I first get to meet them when they come to the cave, and man, it was cool. I felt all tough when I come out of that Jeep. I was like, yeah, it's cool, man. I'm a cool guy, coming out of my cool Jeep, man. Yeah. They did have to tape all the stuff though. I got a kick out of that. Like anything that showed a symbol of anything, the gaffers, they'd come and they'd take a black gaff tape and they'd tape over the Jeep and then I one day I'd wore something that had something on it or something, and they said, well, we're going to have to tape that up, and I was like, oh, well, I'm going to change. I can walk around with a big piece of tape on, so I just wore that just plain old gray t-shirt that I was wearing through most of it. But yeah, it was a good time.
I always think that's funny, like like ghost hunters, when they pull up, they're all GMC SUV. I'm like, really, you're borrowing that, really?
Yeah, you know what it is for sure. Yeah. Oh yeah, you can tell big time.
Okay, I flapped my gums enough. I did my section.
All right, Wendy, take us home.
We are getting close, aren't we?
Yeah.
Okay, in your shop, what kind of gadgets will you be having? What do you make them? Do they?
No. I have been. I've been studying on how to make IR lights and boxes, like spirit boxes as well, but nothing myself yet.
Okay.
Most of the stuff until here recently has been just a lot of paranology stuff, because I do like a lot of Jeremy Jones's stuff. I like his equipment. And then just about basic stuff like your laser grids, and then recorders and stuff, and cameras, and just basic stuff. It's nothing as detailed as like a ghost stop or the ghost hunter store, nothing like that yet. But hopefully we'll have a chance to kind of grow a little bit. I'm working on a newer website now as we speak, and it'll have a lot more detailed stuff. And because man, it's just like how I say I got a degree in computers. Like computers, man, you snooze for a year, man, you're 6 years behind, and that's kind of how I've got because I kind of snoozed on the stuff a little bit. So I'm gonna have to get a lot of this new stuff in there. And talked to a fellow here recently that's an inventor that had been working on some new stuff. So hopefully I'll have. I was going to have his equipment when I did my investigation at the Washoe Club, but regretfully he didn't have everything done by that show by the event yet. So he's hopefully that stuff will come pretty soon, because this guy's a very smart guy. I'm sure you've heard of Bill Chappelle that does a lot of stuff like his. He's kind of like him. He's one of those smart degree guys that knows a lot of things. So hopefully I'll have some brand new stuff that nobody else has had coming out very soon. Awesome. But so keep an eye out. I've got a website right now. It's a long Wix website because our domain name ran out for now. But I've got. I'm going to put it'll be published back. The Darkness Cage will be published back very soon. So you guys keep an eye out for that. We'll have all kinds of stuff, man. Everything I can get, everything that I would take. If it's something that I wouldn't use personally, I'm not going to have it. I don't care what it is. I'm not out for money. I'm not out to make money. That's why none of it really will be crazy expensive. I mean, I want people to have access to stuff that is going to really truly help them on an investigation, not just make a bunch of noises. And like the old K2 meters, I'm not going to carry those. The old K2 meters, they didn't even have any shielding barely at all in those things. And you could turn on your phone or anything whatsoever, and that thing would pick it up a mile away, and your evidence is crap because of that junk. But they luckily, these newer K2s, I think they've got better shielding. So stuff like that. If it's something that I'm not going to use, I'm not going to carry it. But if it's something that I'll use, I'll carry it, and hopefully it'll be a lot of good stuff, and y'all get to check it out.
Yeah, awesome. That would be great. And Jake's awfully good with the website, so if you need a hand.
And I'll push your
I just
gear up.
volunteered you, Jake. So sorry.
Awesome.
And I'll
I've
push
made a
your
few.
gear
I've
up
made a
here.
few websites in my day.
Yeah, just
Awesome.
one
Right
or
on.
two.
That's good stuff. Good stuff.
What do you have for the future? Any
Yeah.
plans? Any
Yeah, well, the main thing is it's kind of not a paranormal thing, but like I was mentioning, the Cage of Darkness Gaming. I've started a Twitch page, and started to do a little bit on YouTube. I've got a small esports team. We started doing Call of Duty. We were going to start. We did a tournament. We did 2 tournaments already, so we're going to have a lot more stuff here soon. And I'm going to try to go full time with streaming. It's just to me, games has been a big outlet. Just like my guitar, if I play my guitar, music is an outlet. Like to me, games has always been an outlet. If I've felt bad or felt something depressed or felt just not feeling good, I would turn on a game and man, it would just bring my spirits right back up. And that's kind of how a lot of these games have done for other folks. So I've got a few and actually the few folks that's part of Cage of Darkness Gaming is actually paranormal folks too. And which one of them in particular is Joe Kudo. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, but he's part of the Skeptical Edge as well as LEP Productions. They have a podcast that they come on once a week as well, and so we're doing some stuff together, and hopefully we'll get to the point to where we can go to these bigger tournaments and have events, and we may not be the top dogs in the esports and all this stuff, but we want to get a group together and just to have fun and to stream and to bring people come on and have fun, small community of gamers and have some good times. And so, that's one of my main things. I've got, like I say, thank goodness, finally we're going to start filming with a new TV show very soon. I'll tell you guys a lot more about that when I can, but that's coming very soon, which I'm excited to do that because, man, I'm crazy excited to tell you guys about that too. It's really going to be awesome. I'm going to start doing some more stuff YouTube as well. I've kind of slacked off for a little while. Hadn't had the right kind of computer to do the editing, to be honest. So I've been having to do a lot of the editing on my phone, and it's not fun trying to do all that on my phone. It's just not going to work. Yeah, and so we'll start doing a lot more of that. And actually, I've been wanting to kind of do a podcast as well. I've talked to another friend of mine that's thinking about it, but it'll be about gaming. We're going to do a lot of that stuff with that. So look out for that too. And yeah, just other than that, just kind of smiling and giving people some hope and bringing people's spirits up as much as I can all day, every day.
Awesome.
That's absolutely a fantastic thing to do.
I do. I love it. I love putting a smile on people's face, even if I'm making fun of myself or being a fool.
No, exactly.
If I can put a smile on somebody's face, man, I've made the day good.
Absolutely. Now, how would people get a hold of you? I'm sure Jake is dropping links.
I have a
haven't
lot.
seen very many in the chat.
I have a lot, but I tell you, the easiest way to look up all the stuff I've got is to Google me. If you put in Google search Nick White Paranormal, put Nick White Paranormal, it'll bring up everything. I've got a Twitter, I've got Instagram, I've got TikTok, I've got, I've got it all. So, I mean, and anytime you want to holler at me. I'm a talker, as you can tell. I love to talk to people. If you have questions about paranormal stuff, holler at me. If you got questions about gaming, holler at me. If you want to talk and you feel like you're alone, you ain't got nobody to talk to, holler at me. I mean, I don't care. Yeah, but usually like social medias, if you're wanting to message Twitter's going to be my main spot. That's where I usually stay on a lot. So at Cage the Darkness is the name for that, at Cage the Darkness. And any other that stuff, just holler anytime. I got the YouTubes, like I say, I've got the Twitch, twitch.tv/Nick White CTD. That's my Twitch stuff, and all the other stuff, man, just holler anytime.
Well, you say the Twitch stuff. I guess I'm just old because I'm thinking, well, they've got medication for that now. So.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Start doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The twitching. Yeah. Got you.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I'm older. It's a little beyond. All righty. Well, guys, it's about that time. And let's see. Next week we've got oh crap, I know him. They've got Chris. Yeah, Chris McNicky. They've got they put out Ouija boards. They put out just all kinds of metaphysical things. They make them.
Is that Chris Vickers?
I think it's McNicky.
McNicky. Oh, okay.
And yeah, he's like he may be making us a Ouija board. I kind of like him to make us some moons with a dragon around it, with Mystic Moon Cafe on it. And
I'd love to have a Cage of Darkness Ouija board. Tell him to give me a shout. We'll do some talking. That would be awesome. Chris, I'd love that.
He's usually in the chat room, but I think he was busy.
Oh, man, that would be awesome. Love it. Love it.
We'll set you up then.
That would be cool.
Oh, yeah. But
awesome.
Yeah, we thought we'd do that.
Ouija boards. We'll do another show and tell.
Absolutely, yes.
That'd be good stuff. Oh, I forgot. I'm also forgot to mention this. Is another huge thing I'm doing. I'm actually writing a comic book. I've started. I've got some good friends of mine, Livid Comics, Livid, Livid Comics. That they're indie comics group that they gave me the motivation. I've wrote a few kind of quarter novels. I haven't wrote the whole. I hadn't finished none of them, which I always have a problem starting something and not finishing it. But I started. They got me my motivation, and I've started writing. It's a space comic. Cool. So it's about Captain Cal Kent, and there will be a lot of cool stuff. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Yeah. I'll have some more info about that very soon.
I will get that. I've been collecting comic books since I was 8.
Oh, right on, for sure. Cool. Right on.
So if you know comic books, I was X-Men Great Phoenix Saga first round with Claremont and Byrne.
Oh wow, yeah, old school. Pulling out some OG stuff. I got you. I got you.
I got you. Comic books. We can talk the comics all day.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you for sure. Yep. Heck yeah. Good stuff.
All right then. Well, you're going to be back. We'll have you back on.
Yes.
I'd love it. I'd love it. Love it. This has been a lot of fun, man. I've had a blast. And thank you guys for that watch. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and watching my old goof ass.
That's what we're here for. We're entertainment,
Right on.
And hopefully people learn a little bit anyway.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Thank you everyone who watched and listened and chimed in a bit. Sandy and Shirley and all kinds of people. Some of them are
Julie, yes,
East Coast and had to sign off earlier, but that's okay.
Yes. Thank you for operating to West Coast hours. I appreciate it.
Word.
Yeah, I had to fight for that. So all right, kids. Have a great weekend and stay warm, safe, and just I don't know. Take care of each other.
Peace.
Good night. Thanks, Nick.
All right. Take care.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Ciao.
All right.
Okay, let me.